famous pilot named Bob Hoover. He's got a famous quote, you know, if you're going to crash an airplane, fly the airplane as far into the crash as you can. So I just decided to follow the late and great Bob Hoover's advice. It apparently worked for him a few times. My name is Adam Schoaf, and I'm a police officer for the City of Fulshear Police Department. You know, I've been flying my entire adult life. About 3 years ago, I started making Angel Flight trips. Yeah, Angel Flight is a nonprofit organization that flies people to and from hospital appointments when they live far distances. Pretty much all were cancer patients or are cancer patients, and we provide those flights for free. I take 10% of my income and I fly Angel Flight trips. It's a lot of fun to fly, and it's a lot of fun to help people, and it's even more fun to combine the two.
So he's very unique, for sure. He gives a lot of his time. Roughly, he goes 2 to 3 times a month, and you know, the flights can vary. Sometimes they're a couple hours, sometimes it's an all-day event.
I love flying with Dylan. He's one of my best friends. One day, Dylan and I were flying out over a mountain range, and while we were over New Mexico, we experienced an engine failure, and that essentially just turned the airplane into a giant glider. I've been practicing for this crash for 18 years. Mountainous terrain, that's the worst place you can have an engine failure.
Well, I was right here in my office when I heard the news of the crash, and it was quite devastating. I'll be honest with you. When I first heard it, I thought he had died. I mean, we all did. I mean, how do you survive a plane crash?
I think I was in my living room at the time, and I was just floored with the news that something like that could happen to people that we know that have been in our store with their uniforms on and their uniforms off. We were just stunned.
A lot of anxiety, and you know, the not knowing was definitely the hardest part of it. The only information that we had at the time was that they hadn't heard from him in about 15 minutes.
I saw a Border Patrol agent walking down the side of a hill, and apparently that was 3.5 hours. So we were on the side of the mountain for 3.5 hours waiting for rescue.
We were relieved that both officers survived the crash, and that's when, you know, we immediately began to think, how can we help? And I talked to my family. We very quickly ascertained that medical expenses were going to be significant. One of the best things that we could do is help them offset that cost.
Dylan's injuries weren't quite as severe as Adam's, although extensive. He started doing a lot better. Now, Adam, on the other hand, it was quite severe, and he was in for a very long road to recovery.
I broke my left femur. I had a burst fracture of a few lower vertebrae in my back. They had to put some screws into my head. They ended up doing a total of 7 surgeries in, I think it was a week and a few days.
We thought about ways that we could raise cash at the store. When our customers came to the counter while we were rounding up change to benefit Adam and Dylan, the reaction was very positive and very enthusiastic. There were some that were just simply rounding up their change, and that makes a big difference when you add it up. And there were others that went above and beyond that and actually donated cash. And so we agreed to match all the contributions that were made, and all those dollars added up, which allowed us to contribute more than $9,000 to the Fulshear Police Foundation.
It was one of the larger donations, and anything that came in, not just through Ace Hardware, but through the community, went 100% to Adam and Dylan.
So I kind of knew deep down when this happened that the citizens of Fulshear would step up, and boy, did they ever step up. Not only did they step up, but area businesses stepped up, and then Ace Hardware stepped up big time and really helped us.
You know, it's just incredible. The money that we've received so far from Ace and everyone else, it really has kept us afloat. Even though he has great health insurance, there still are these expenses you don't quite anticipate. And so having something like that to rely upon has been just a lifesaver for us.
It was really heart-filling. I never would have expected anything like that. Coming from Mike, that's the kind of character that he is. It's the kind of guy he is. He's the kind of guy that he'd donate a shirt to me right off his back if I needed it. A great family with a lot of integrity.
So in addition to the $9,000, Ace has a handyman service that we have here at Fulshear. And our store, as well as Chance Burton, our local Ace handyman, are donating $2,000 of those services to help Adam around the house until he gets recovered. If you can't lift stuff or there's work that needs to be done around the house, we don't want you to have to worry about that.
Oh, wow.
There'll be folks there to help you out.
That's amazing. I mean, all you've done, I'm pretty dang speechless.
Mike is an incredible asset to our community. He's got an ear to the ground. He's heavily involved, but I think most importantly, he's genuine. He's humble, and he really does want what's best for our community.
I think the reason that it's important to keep this at the front of our minds is that the recovery is not over. The plane crash gets a lot of news when it happens, and we hear a lot about the injuries and what's being done to help, but that recovery can last a long time. We don't know how long it's going to last for Adam, so giving him some extra help, I think, is going to be really helpful to Adam and his family.
You know, I'd like to think that our general plans for the future haven't changed. He'll live with the pain, for the rest of his life, but nothing much keeps him down. So I think our plans for our family are pretty rock solid.
I can't fathom not flying an airplane. My daughter, Mariah, she's been bugging me about going flying. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. She is a joy to have in the cockpit.
Everything looks so tiny from here.
I know, that's because we're up high.
I can see the whole universe.
Can you?
Yeah.
Our hope is that when people see this, they're inspired, that they see another great example of how retailers and other people can be of service to others in the community. Then say, hey, yeah, I can make a difference too. And collectively, when we all contribute, it makes a huge difference.